Last week, it came out and was confirmed that the NFL, they were all in it together when it came to collusion, when it came to them not agreeing to give players fully guaranteed contracts. And when was the timing of that? Well, it just so happened to be when Lamar Jackson was asking for his. But you know what's crazy? So many of us talked about this years ago when Lamar was trying to get his contract. We said the word collusion too, and we knew that it was collusion, but there was still a lot of people that doubted. There was still a lot of people like, oh no, it's just because it's Lamar. He not all that. He ain't nothing special. And we were like, come on now, really? Because the signs were there. Everything was super, super obvious. It was no surprise that teams were colluding against Lamar Jackson individually. Because look, like, when has it ever, especially a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber too, when has it ever happened that different teams have came out and publicly said, even when a player comes up, oh, well, no, we're not going to pursue that player. No, we're not interested in that player. If you're not interested, you just ain't going to say nothing and keep it moving. But there were multiple teams that came out publicly and said, no, we will not be pursuing Lamar Jackson. That was no coincidence. So when this came out last week, we were like, oh, okay, so water is wet, the sky is blue, the sun shines. This is not news because this is something that we knew a long time ago. Something else that also wasn't surprising was that Justin Tucker, he ended up being suspended for the first 10 games of the season. Now, obviously, with everything that he had going on, that was no shocker either because with the whole, even though it was just allegations, we don't know the final result or what really happened, what happened. We just don't know. There's so much that we still don't know about that whole ordeal. But him being suspended by the league, that was no surprise at all. He's eligible to play in the preseason, but as soon as that regular season starts, he got to sit them first 10 games out. And also, the Ravens cutting him was really no surprise either. But something else that's no surprise to any of us at all that have been watching the Baltimore Ravens is that this team, they have had some very, very strong teams, strong rosters, strong regular seasons, dominant regular seasons. But for some reason, come playoff time, it all falls apart. For some reason, come playoff time, this big bad Ravens that usually be getting, whether it's the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed, 3 seed at lowest, a lot of times, those big bad Ravens that we see in the regular season, that's just steamrolling teams, blowing teams out the water, just crushing them. We don't see that in the playoffs. And that's why what Odafe Oweh had to say about the Baltimore Ravens mentality, it was no surprise. Let's listen.
Everybody wants to see this team hoist a Lombardi trophy. What do you think it's going to take to get there? It's not necessarily a mental hump, not a physical hump. Is there something that you guys focus on to kind of quiet the outside noise? What is it like in that building knowing what the expectation is?
Yeah, I mean, you said it's not a mental. To be honest, I really do think it's a mental thing with us because honestly, our roster has been, superb these past 3 years. To be honest, we've had great rosters. Regular seasons, we've been dominant.
Oh yeah.
We hit the playoffs, and we kind of lose that edge, and for whatever reason. But to be honest, what we have to do is just take care of the football and cause turnovers. Our last game, we lost turnover about like 3-0. That's something that's big, and if we can just continue to be the type of defense that we are in a regular season, and realize that we are enough. Each individual player that we have is enough, and if we just play to our capabilities, do your 111th, we're going to win. So I feel like it really is a mental battle, So I feel like we do that and we win. We're hoisting the Lombardi.
You always get better when you add good football players. Jair Alexander's out of Green Bay, now a member of the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know if you learned it through social media or one of your teammates texted you. What was your reaction?
Hey, more sacks. More sacks. That's really all I said. I said, yes, sir. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
But if you're saying more sacks, then these are coverage sacks. You got to, dole something out and make sure they're happy back there, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a mutual relationship. So you guys do your job for us. And then when it comes down, when you need us, we'll beat our man before those, under 3 seconds, and we'll all be happy,
So Odafe Oweh, he certainly said a lot right there. But similar to Lamar Jackson being colluded against, similar to Justin Tucker being suspended, it also was no surprise exactly what he was talking about. Because when he was asked, do you think it's a mental thing? And Odafe Oweh said, no, it is. It's definitely a mental thing. Because it has been. That's exactly what it's been with these Baltimore Ravens for years. Because Odafe Oweh said all the same stuff. They've been this dominant team. Regular season, they've been doing their thing. But then he said in the playoffs, he said they lose that edge. And that's dangerous because that's what's been consistently happening to them every single year. They lose that edge. They lose it. 2018, I get him a pass for that one. Even though, like, oh my goodness, that was some of the worst coaching that I have ever seen, especially come playoff time. But that was Lamar's rookie year. They switched from Flacco to Lamar in the middle of the season. Okay, cool. But 2019, 14-2, you won 12 games in a row. 12 games in a row, had the number one seed. Oh, you were dominating. Big time. Then what happened? Titans came, punched us in the mouth. They lost that edge. They lost it. But then finally, the following year, they end up beating the Titans in the playoffs. But then in the Bills game, we know Lamar got concussed, but still, turned the ball over. They ran the same exact play twice, intended for the same receiver twice. Then Lamar threw that pick six. Justin Tucker, he was missing field goals. I guess he was trying to give us a preview way back then, like, hey, y'all boys, I'm about to fall off soon. But anyway, they lost that edge. Then he got concussed, and that was really when the game was over. But still, and it's happened time and time again, especially these past couple of years. 2023, oh my goodness. Lamar Jackson gets the MVP, does his thing. Oh, Ravens killing it. Number one seed. Oh, they looking good. Let's get it, man. And then, hey, they took care of business against the Texans. But then against the Chiefs at the crib, at your house, they came out flat. Absolutely flat. And then, of course, last year, they did their thing. They won a division, ended up beating the Steelers at the crib. Nice. But then they played the Bills. And Odafe Oweh talked about that game specifically. He talked about how they lost the turnover battle 0-3. Yeah, I know he said 3-0, but you get the point. And those turnovers, there was a Lamar Jackson fumble. And you know what? Somebody pointed out something to me. Now, it's no excuse for it, but somebody pointed out something to me, and I hadn't even realized that it was a bad snap. I said, really? But Lamar's he's still responsible for that fumble. But I didn't realize it was a bad snap. And that actually, again, we always talk about how football is a game of inches, and every play matters that much more. The play right before that, that's when Mark Andrews had a drop. He dropped the perfect pass. But anyway, Lamar Jackson, he still fumbled. That's on him. Then there was an interception. Of course, Lamar Jackson, that's when Rashad Bateman ran the wrong route. But it happened. So it's a team game. It takes everybody. It can't just be one person. It takes everybody. So that was another turnover. Then, of course, in the fourth quarter, I still am not mad. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, man, Mark Andrews, why'd he cut back? He should have never cut back. Why would you do that? I saw what he saw. He saw if he cut back, made the defender miss, cut up field, he would have got even more yards. I ain't had no problem with him coming back. We got a problem with him fumbling, but we ain't got no problem with him cutting back. But it happened. Ball got knocked out. He fumbled. That was another turnover. Ravens, they lost the battle. Big time. They lost the battle. And what the Buffalo Bills did in that game, they didn't play no sexy football. They weren't putting up a bunch of points. They weren't going crazy on offense. They weren't doing a bunch of trick plays. Josh Allen had like 100-something passing yards, I think. I think he had under 150 passing yards. The Buffalo Bills did not do anything crazy, but the Ravens just crumbled. All the Buffalo Bills had to do was sit back, and wait for the Ravens to fail. That's all they had to do because they knew the Ravens would mess up. And the Ravens gave them exactly what they wanted. Ravens messed up big time. So when Odafe Oweh speaks about this edge in the playoffs, nothing that he said was surprising at all because we've all been having the same conversation for years. Because Ravens will be rolling in a regular season, then come playoff time, everything just sputters. They just stop. But why is that? Why is it's been so many different teams But it's been the same issue. And I know what y'all gonna say. Coaching. That's on John Harbaugh. That's on the coaching staff because there have been different rosters, but the same thing keeps on happening. And it is. I do agree. That's where it starts. It starts from the top. So there's got to be something between weeks, the 17th game of the season and the wild card game. There's something that's missing. There's something that just, because there's the drop off. There's a significant drop off. And Ravens got to get it right, man. They got to get it right. Now, while I do feel like that, a lot of that is a big coaching issue. I do still feel like the Baltimore Ravens do have everything that they need and more, even with the coaching staff, to get the job done. And the way that the Baltimore Ravens really have built this team, especially this year, like you look at some of their additions. They signed Jair Alexander. They brought in Chido Awuzie. They drafted Malachi Starks. They drafted Mike Green, who they still got to get him signed, but I know there's a bunch of second-round picks. They ain't signed no contracts yet, but they'll get that taken care of. Ain't worried about it. But one of the biggest additions to these Baltimore Ravens that I think will make a huge difference is Chuck Pagano. And the way that the Baltimore Ravens have been constructing their team this offseason, Odafe Oweh talked about it. He said that we can't lose a turnover battle. We got to take care of the ball, but they also got to force turnovers. They got to force turnovers. And he said, hey, with Jair Alexander, what that mean? More sacks. Let's go. More sacks. And he talked about how the pass rusher goes hand in hand with them cornerbacks. He said, we getting more sacks, they get more interceptions, vice versa. Because even the person who was interviewing him, he even tried, whoa, you talking about coverage sacks, huh? Because coverage sacks, that's a sack when, hey, them cornerbacks, they covering them receivers, and the quarterback ain't got nowhere to throw. He waiting, then boom, finally somebody get a sack. And those are going to happen. But he also, Odafe Oweh corrected him again. He said, yeah, that's true, but we also trying to get there in under 3 seconds to get those sacks as well. So I said, all right, Odafe Oweh. He respectively continued to correct him. And it was cool, man. But it's true. Everything that he said is true. And it's no surprise, but Ravens it's just a matter of them finally getting it done. Will this be the year that they finally get over that hump? I hope so. We made it to my favorite part of the videos where we feature your questions. Send me an email at teamkeepitclean@gmail.com if you want to take part in it. Or if you want to send your question on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids to become one. And you can send your question right in the DM on there. Now, before we get into it, got to give a special shout out to the newest Team Keep It Clean Patron. Y'all stand up and give it to our guy, Kendell J. Jr. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, my friend. Now, he scared me for a little minute because he became a Team Keep It Clean patron, and I was waiting, but then I got exactly what I hoped for, and he is starting us off with a question. He said, shout out to Team Keep It Clean. I've been watching you since 2024 season, and let me tell you that you're like the Fox 2 news anchor of the Baltimore Ravens. LOL. I appreciate you, my friend. He said 3 questions. Woo, that boy, 3 questions. This might be it for the whole video, because I know we were running our mouth about what Odafe Oweh was talking about, but it's real, though, man. Because, again, when it's something that we know about and very passionate about, especially when it comes to these Ravens in the playoffs, man, we got to speak on it and got to go in depth, in detail. But anyway, let's get back to my guy KJ Jr.'s question. He said, 3 questions. First, question, TJ's process lets you know the Ravens don't draft a player that has no chance in playing. So we're told that TJ was looking good in minicamp. Oh, you talking about TJ Tampa. Okay. He said, but then Jair came in like Superman in a Justice League movie, and then everything went downhill. Do you think that TJ Tampa will get that spotlight this season? That's such a great question. That's a great question. Because, yes, we have been hearing a lot of good stuff about TJ Tampa. It's like on offense, we've been hearing a lot of good stuff about Tez Walker, defense, TJ Tampa. Now, we got Marlon Humphrey. I almost said Brandon Stevens, my goodness. We got Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Jair Alexander, Chido Awuzie, TJ Tampa. I do think there could be a scenario where they may not have Jair Alexander play 100% of the snaps. They could have TJ Tampa in there rotating with him because they may look at TJ Tampa like, all right, we did draft this guy last year. So Jair Alexander's on a 1-year deal, and he coming back from injury. They may want to play it a little safer, especially early on in the season and whatnot. Just let him get his legs back under him and whatnot. So they may have a little rotation with him and TJ Tampa as outside corners, with him and Chido Awuzie. But I do think TJ Tampa is going to be active on game days as of right now. Now, that's a lot of corners, but you need a lot of corners. And with TJ Tampa, he's a very versatile corner, so he can do multiple things. And you want to have guys that can do multiple things active on game day. So that's a really, really great question, man. He said, second question is, they're talking about Andrews' trade again. He said, I'm tired of hearing about it. He is explosive in the regular season when healthy, but in the playoffs, the explosive regular season he tends to drop for us twice, actually. But if we do trade him, who you got? See, we just talked about that in yesterday's video, and then we just talking about that today, about how with Odafe Oweh, they lose the edge. They lose the edge, and it goes for so many players on the rate. They lose that edge. So with Mark Andrews, I'm glad we ain't got to talk about trading him. I'm glad it's like not official, but when Lamar said what he said a couple weeks ago, like he talking about, he tired of hearing people talk about Mark Andrews, he need to get traded and whatnot. When Lamar stood right there on that podium for Mark Andrews, that let us know he ain't going nowhere. So we ain't even got to worry about it. He said, third question is, and I'm going to need you to take a seat for this one. Ooh. He said, our almighty field goal god, Justin Tucker, has been placed on a 10-game suspension. Now, let's put 2 and 2 together and make 4. I understand what they might say, but hear me out. If he is suspended for 10 games, that's basically the whole season, and they said he is able to participate in team activities if he gets signed to a team. Do you think we will be hearing retirement in a couple of days? Whew, that's a good question. I ain't think about that. Man. And that just... his questions was crazy. His questions line up literally with everything that we were just talking about. But he sent this in on June 26th. It's June 30th now. So he was actually ahead of the game. But shout out to him. I don't think we'll hear about retirement from him yet. I don't. Not yet. I don't. I think he'll still want to keep playing, keep kicking for somebody else. Will he get that opportunity? Crazier things have happened. They really have. The crazier things have happened. We've seen NFL. It's a crazy business. So I would not be surprised if he ends up getting signed to a team, whether it's now or whether it ends up being down the road, because teams, they end up having kicking problems. And a team may be like, all right, Justin Tucker, he got suspended. He did his time. You know what? Let's give him a shot. And he and his lawyer, his camp, they have continued to claim innocence with the whole thing. So like I said earlier, we don't know what happened. So we can't speak on that because we don't know. But I would not be surprised if somebody ended up picking up Justin Tucker and giving him another shot after them 10 games. Like I said, when kicking problems happen, to have Justin Tucker sitting there on a sideline ready and available, then it's a kicking game. Obviously, you got to have a nice little nice rapport with the holder, with the snapper and the kicker, but I'm sure that wouldn't be hard for him to get. So again, I would not be surprised if somebody ends up picking him up. I don't think he's going to retire, but we'll see. He also said, I would just like to say thank you for having me in Ingraven as a Team Keep It Clean member and for being there when I needed it the most about our Ravens flock, because when I hear news, I know it's not true until I get that Ingraven notification. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. He said, and I'm a flock member straight out of St. Louis. He said, I haven't been to a Baltimore game yet, but when I watch it on TV from start to finish, it feels like I'm there. Oh, man, yeah, it's special, man. I really do hope you get an opportunity to go. I really do, because there is absolutely nothing like it. You will enjoy yourself, you will love it, and you will have a blast.